Just because you're engaged doesn't mean it means anything, right? Hey, welcome to the big show. It's your good friend, it's your pal, it's your compadre. It's TC, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to Rock This Town Live. We are hanging out here every Monday through Friday. Boom, 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 boom. Starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. That is 5 Central and 3 on the West Coast, 4 in the Mountain Time Zone if you're in that Mountain Time Zone. And yeah, what's going on the big show today? Well, I like reliving the past. I got a hell of a double bill from 1981 or 1982 to talk about here in just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Also going to be talking a little Rob Halford, Judas Priest, a little Stephen Pearcy. That would be, of course, Rat. How can I forget Rat? Little Megadeth, not too much. All right, so a couple things going on the show today. We got the battle, we got the throwdown. I'm staying with the throwdown. It is the showdown of August 26th in history. 2 great albums going head to head. Today it's Creed versus Slipknot, so we'll see how that goes. Also, I've got my top 6 bands of when Y2K was about to happen. Remember when Y2K, were you with us? Were you hanging out with us back in the 1999, December 31st, 1999? Remember, it was going to be a Greek tragedy about all the computer systems were going to go down and nothing really happened, of course. But of course, there was some preventative maintenance that happened, so that's good. So we'll talk about that in just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. So I got to say, obviously, kind of the big news in music today is Taylor Swift engaged to Travis Kelce, whatever. Anyways, but as I always tell people, an engagement is like a Seinfeld episode. Remember the episode of Seinfeld when he rents a car and he goes to rent the car and they say, we got no cars. And he's like, well, anybody can just take the reservations. You got to hold the reservation. So unless there's a wedding date for Mr. Kelce or Miss Taylor, it don't mean nothing. That's just my opinion. All right, let's start the show, baby. Reliving the past. This is a hell of a handbill. This is from, I'm guessing, I didn't look up the actual date. It's got to be 81 or 82 at the latest. Jay Giles Band. It's a cool band. I love Jay Giles. And I would say, without question, the song Centerfield has stood the test of time. Centerfold. Well, John Fogerty's Centerfield has stood the test of time pretty well as well. But Centerfold by Jay Giles Band is one of those songs that has definitely stood the test of time. Freeze Frame, not as much, but Centerfold, great song, and obviously a great video if you're a fan of that type of video. And who isn't, right? Anyway, special guest star in this one, that would be none other than our friends in U2. U2 opening for Jay Giles Band back, March 27th at the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena. So tickets $12.50, $10.50 as well, on sale Monday, February 14th. So I don't know. Did you ever see Jay Giles? Did you ever see U2? I never saw either band. Nope, never saw either band. I'm pretty sure. Yep, pretty sure, unfortunately. I loved U2 in the 80s. Not so much in recent years, I think, the guys, but it's that way with every band, right? Jay Giles, of course, pretty good band too. I know that Adam Sandler loves himself some Jay Giles, by the way. So there you go. That's the spiel there. So cool. All right, let's see what else is going on. Of course, if you have a comment, if you saw any of those bands, you can leave it in the chat, or you can, of course. Where else can you leave it? Oh, in the comment section. Boom. Very nice. Works out pretty well there. So what do you think of the album Turbo by Judas Priest? When that came out for me, I actually loved that record. Parental Guidance, Turbo. Wasn't there? I gotta find the track list really quick. Let me find the track list. I didn't do that ahead of time. I should have. I've got it actually all called up here because I did a little research initially. Oh, Locked Inside Your Love, baby. You got me locked in. I didn't have a problem with that record, but of course I was pretty young at that point. So obviously I had heard I'm thinking the Screaming for Vengeance record with Another Thing Coming. And then when Priest hit the scene, I guess that came out April 7th of 1986. So Yeah, I dug that record. I didn't have a problem with it, though. I know that if you were like an old school Priest fan, you were like, what in the holy hell is this? Just kind of like when Van Halen put out 1984, and you're hearing the keyboard intro 1984, and then you're hearing that going to Jump. And then on the B side, you got Michael McDonald helping out with lyrics with All Weight. It's just like, whoa, what happened here? Kind of the same thing, I suppose, happened with Judas Priest and Turbo. I guess the previous record was actually Defenders of the Faith. I forget about Defenders of the Faith sometime, and that actually has one of my favorite songs on there from Priest, which is Some Heads Are Gonna Roll, Baby. And also Love Bites, great song there as well, too, from Priest. But I don't know. I dug that record. I thought it was good at the time. If you hated it at the time, let me know in the comments or in the chat. And where do you stand on it now? Because I think it's a great record. I don't have a problem with it. I'm all in. Who produced that record? Was it that Tom Allom guy who had produced most of their stuff? I think it was Tom Allom. Yeah, Tom Allom. Actually, Tom Allom produced the first Def Leppard record as well, On Through the Night. And of course, they went on to work with Mutt Lange. So there you go. I dig it. So Rob Halford looks back on Judas Priest. He was on Planet Rock the other day. I got this from Blabbermouth. I'll do credit to our friends at Blabbermouth, a potentially wonderful site. Actually, it's not a potentially wonderful site. It is a wonderful site. So he says, you've got 30,000 metal maniacs singing I'm Your Turbo Lover at pre-shows now. But when that album came out, everyone wanted to throw it in the bin, meaning the trash, because he's obviously English. So not me, Rob. You got me going, man. Got me going. I see Rob's got the nose ring there. Maybe I should replace Robin, Judas Priest, since he did call me in my dreams the other night. I would not have the nose ring there, Rob. But, you do you, I'll do me. So what can you say? Rob, pretty handsome guy back in the day, I suppose. Hey, Beat After Beat, hanging out with us. Cool. Good to see you. What else is going on? Megadeth. Oh, this was kind of an interesting story. I had forgotten all about this, and I would play the riff for you. But of course, the music industry hates when people talk about and play music. I kid you not. Or they want to be paid for it. Give me all the money. Give me all the money. Give me all the money. There'll be lawyers knocking on the door. What are you doing playing 3 seconds of Peace Sells? But MTV, remember this back in the day when they would end an episode of MTV News? What would happen is you'd hear that, what was the line? MTV News, it's like all that's fit to print or something like that at the end. MTV News ending. Let me find that. I can't remember exactly. Well, that's MTV News signs off after 36 years. But then the Megadeth riff from Peace Sells would play. Boom, 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 boom. Well, Dave Mustaine says he never saw a dime from it. See, everybody looking for a penny, man. Dave, let it go. In this case, I would be like, they were playing the hell out of your videos. Just appreciate it, I guess. Sometimes it helps you to be not paid for something. I understand the music industry is very greed orientated, shall we say. I understand that, and I get it. I'm not calling Dave greedy or anything, because obviously it's his concoction. Actually, apparently everybody thought, maybe Dave Ellefson wrote that riff because it's a bass riff that starts off Peace Sells. Well, apparently it was Dave Mustaine that wrote it. So, but in this case, I'm thinking that MTV made a lot of careers, because here I am, a teenager, watching MTV, watching the video for Peace Sells, and then on into the 90s. Well, MTV was cool. Boom. So there you go. I don't know. I'm going to disagree with Dave on this. Sometimes you got to take one for the team, and Dave takes one for the team, and it becomes a memorable thing in people's minds. Like the Anthrax one. I forget. There's some like sort of headbanger show on MTV Classic or something on the cable stations, and it's an Anthrax song. I think it's an Anthrax song. Maybe it's a Slayer song. Anyways, I heard that riff in the song, and I'm like, oh my God, that's the song. So anyways, I digress. I'm going to move on. This was kind of death on that topic. So let's move on. I appreciate it. Love Megadeth. Love Dave Mustaine. So there you go. Rat Stephen Piercy on being called a hair metal band. This is via Dennis Wood at WOKW Radio. He says, you had to be labeled, and now it's hair, and now it's hair metal. It doesn't bother me in the least, and some guys are bothered by it. let me be honest with you. It's a really slow news day. Of course, we've got Labor Day coming up next Monday. A lot of people taking off, so not a lot of stuff going on. So I'm digging for some kind of interesting stuff, and maybe it's not that interesting. So there you go, a little hair metal action. What do you are you offended by hair metal? Because I like the term dance metal because, it's David Lee Roth and Rat and a lot of these bands, it had a groove, baby. And you could dance to it a little bit. I think that's why a lot of the chicks, man, you got to get the chicks, man. That's why a lot of the chicks love the hair metal, is because you can dance to it. You can swing your hips, baby. It's like Happy Gilmore. Swing your hips and relax, swing the hips. So I don't know. I got no problem with it, I guess. I try not to use the word hair metal. I like the word dance metal. Hard rock or heavy music, as Ozzy would say. But so there you go. Hey, Rich hanging out with us. Rich says he saw Judas Priest on the Turbo Tour. Nice. See, that was and Priest Live that came out in 87. That was a fantastic, in my humble opinion, live record from the 80s. I actually love that record. Rich says he likes the album as well. And Richard's still at work. Richard, of course, runs, let's see, I think it's, what is the company that Richard runs? I think it's Anacott Steel down there in somewhere in Arizona. Anacott Steel, because Blue Horseshoe, Richard, loves Anacott Steel. So there you go. Very nice. And hair metal rules, beat after beat says, so very nice, very cool. And there you go. All right, let me check the chat here. Well, there was the chat right there. I should have put it up on the screen while I was talking about it. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bam. I'm going to keep moving today because, like I said, I think the better stuff is in the second part of the show. So let's enter the second part of the show. Y2K, best rock and metal bands during Y2K. Got a buddy of mine in Minnesota who will love this list, at least the number one person or the number one band there. So at the turn of the century, remember, there was this whole thing. Oh my God, the bank numbers, because we've been just writing whatever on your checks. You wouldn't have to write 19. The checks would all be like 19, and you just write 84 or 89 or 95. You get the idea. And of course, kind of made famous a little bit in the movie by Mike Judge, Office Space, where Peter is updating bank stuff for the Y2K thing. And then, of course, he ends up stealing the money with Michael Bolton and Samir. Great movie. If you've never seen it, I love Office Space. Mike Judge kind of did a threesome of great movies back then. He did Office Space. He did Idiocracy. Welcome to Costco. I love you. And then finally, what else is it? Oh, Extract. Extract's probably a movie you haven't seen. And if you have, I'll salute. You're very cool, in my humble opinion. It's a great movie. Stars Jason Bateman. It's about a guy that's running a extract company, as in like vanilla extract, if you're like baking and stuff, I suppose. So there you go. It sounds corny, but it's a funny movie. A guy gets his nut shot off in an accident in the plant, and then is suing Jason Bateman and company. Gene Simmons is in it as a lawyer. J.K. Simmons is in it as well. I love J.K. Simmons from maybe not so much from the Spider-Man thing, but from Whiplash. He was great in that. And of course, the television show Oz. He was just such a bastard in that show, but so great. Who else is in it? Oh, Mila Kunis is in it as well. So there you go. And Ben Affleck. There you go. Very nice. Anyways, there you go. That's it, I think. So best rock or metal band during Y2K. All right. Kind of set the stage for Y2K. Think late 1999, early 2000. So Blink's record, I think, came out like in June of that year. And they were kind of taking over the airways. All the Small Things, What's My Age Again? Very good. That self-titled Blink record is really good too. That's probably their two best records. What is it? Enema of the State, and then the self-titled. Very, very good. Korn, obviously hitting it hard back then. Freak on a Leash, Falling Away From Me. Limp Bizkit, same thing. That new metal, it's all new metal basically, except for, well, the next four, I guess. Korn, Limp Bizkit, Slipknot, and System of a Down are quote unquote new metal and new dash metal. Slipknot, of course, Boom. System of a Down, Sugar and Spiders. System of a Down let me try that again. System of a Down was one of those bands when they hit the scene, it's like, what in the holy hell is this? Ended up being pretty damn good. And then finally, number one, Tool with obviously Anima had come out, and Stinkfist was making the rounds, and Sober, among others. So there you go. That's my list of the best Y2K bands. I know it's a bizarrely insane topic potentially, but there you go. Beat after beat, loves himself some Slipknot. So very nice, very nice. Out of this, who would I rather listen to? I've gotten into Tool over the last several years a lot more. System of a Down, I love now, because I would be like, when we had the record store for whatever 3+ years, I'd be like, why are we selling all these System of a Down records? I order this in and it's sold out right away. And it's like, oh, maybe I should listen to these guys. And I started listening to Toxicity and stuff, Chop Suey specifically. And I'm like, holy crap, these guys are good. I've never gotten into Slipknot. If there is a gateway album or a song from Slipknot that you'd recommend, leave it in the chat or in the comments. Limp Bizkit, I dig. Korn, I dig, and Blink is pretty good. You know, got a couple good albums in my humble opinion on that. I actually prefer the Angels and Airwaves and the Boxcar Racer stuff maybe a little more from Tom from Blink-182 when he went off and did his own thing. So there you go. AI metal is out there now. Well, yeah, all kinds of AI stuff is out there. It's crazy, man. I would love to see somebody, if AI could take the essence of, say, an album that is much loved and create kind of almost like a sequel to that record. Like let's say Van Halen 1. I mean, some would argue Van Halen 2 is that essence, basically the sequel, of course. But what if AI could take everything and create an album that was just as good as Van Halen 1, with Diamond Dave and Michael Anthony and Alex and, of course, Eddie? If it can do that, I'm all in on the AI metal and the AI music. At least that's me. But yeah, unfortunately, the music still sounds fake. And the problem is, of course, but the music industry is going to have to accept this, because all of our photos, all of our text, all of anything that we've posted on the internet has been digested by AI at this point, including the music. And I know the music industry say, well, these are songs that we wrote, but it's like, well, what do we do? Pay you a penny off of this one song to every person that's ever put up anything on the internet or anybody that's recorded music? It's just, people are inspired. It would be like, well, this kind of sounds like Cheap Trick, sounds a little bit like the Beatles, so they're ripping them off. Well, that's kind of what AI is in some ways. It's listening to say, I want a Cheap Trick type of song, and it's like, well, okay, let me give you a Cheap Trick type of song. It's being inspired by, I don't know. I'm making enemies in the music industry today, so I apologize for that. But, you know, it is what it is. Hey, a couple of vinyl announcements. This one's actually out now. I only mentioned it because I love the song The Spins from Mac Miller. It's a great song. When Mac Miller died back in the day, I was running I had started this sports website that actually ended up did really well. And I remember my editors were like bummed when Mac Miller died. And I'm like, I never heard of this guy. And I never really investigated it until we had the record store. And then all of a sudden, everybody's coming in. You got any Mac Miller? You got any Mac Miller? I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I'm like, well, that's actually a cool looking vinyl. So there you go. Also, this is something back in stock this week as well. If you're into the Toadies, Rubberneck is back in stock on translucent emerald vinyl with lemon and red splatter. Fancy. As far as new announcements, I thought this was actually, I don't know if anybody likes country music out there. I think some rock people do. I do. I like that older country music, but I thought the track list on this thing is so good. It's $39, comes out November 7th. It's a double album. It's called Opry 100, and it's got old performances from a bunch of Opry legends. So like Marty Robbins doing El Paso at the Grand Ole Opry. Same with Patsy Cline doing Crazy, Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire, Loretta Lynn, Coal Miner's Daughter from 1985, Dolly Parton doing I Will Always Love You, Charlie Daniels Band, all right, doing Devil Went Down to Georgia. This is in 2014, so that's a little newer. But the Oak Ridge Boys, you can't tell me you love the Oak Ridge Boys, right? Elvira Mao Mao. Anyways, that is from 1981, that performance. So, and then there's some stuff from Randy Travis, Keith Whitley from back in the 80s, Reba McEntire doing Fancy, Alan Jackson doing Chattahoochee, Vince Gill, Patty Loveless doing Go Rest High on That Mountain. I know that's a song that my family loved, and unfortunately we've used that at many a times for funerals, which is not good, but that's life, unfortunately. So anyways, kind of a cool record in my humble opinion. Oh, and George Strait is on there too. I should mention that since Beat After Beat just mentioned that. George Strait, what's George doing on here? Where's the George track? I missed that. Oh my God, I can't find it. George Strait was on here. George Jones and Alan. Maybe I'm thinking George Jones and Alan Jackson. I think I read that as Strait initially. It's George Jones and Alan Jackson actually doing. George Strait is not on the record, unfortunately. But yeah, George Strait is fabulous. My mother-in-law loves herself some George Strait. Sammy Hagar, I know this got announced last week. This is what the album actually looks like. It's 2 LP amplified lime and reverb blue vinyl. Boom, October 10th, priced at $40. Kind of sexy, but I don't know if I'd pay $40 for this record. I love Sammy, I love Satriani, Michael Anthony, but I don't know if I need this. I think I'd go back and listen to Live Without a Net, because that's got Eddie in it. It's got Alex. So that's where I'm at right now. I actually posted a couple of news stories last night on YouTube. So perhaps you saw those if you're subscribed on YouTube. So there you go. My battle today is a battle that, I don't know, maybe it seems underwhelming to me. Maybe people will be into it. I'm not sure. Battle of August 26th. Creed, My Own Prison came out in 1997 on this date. Slipknot, All Hope Is Gone, came out in 2008. Now, I know Slipknot from obviously the first record in Iowa. I think this is the record that Casey, and I think a lot of young people in their 20s are into Slipknot. And because Slipknot actually has more listeners on like Spotify than Creed does, though back in the late 90s, this thing, the Creed record, sold 15 million copies worldwide, 6 times platinum in the US. So, and it's crazy. And what's interesting about the Creed thing is that it was actually released April 17th initially as an independent record in Florida. And then it was kind of blowing up. It sold like 6,000 copies. And I was like, whoa. And then Wind Up Records came in and signed them and then officially released it on August 26th after they had kind of remastered it and made it all sexy a little bit. So there you go. I don't know if you have a preference. My preference would be Creed because I just don't know a lot about Slipknot, though I will say that Psychosocial and Snuff are, I know that they're really big songs for Slipknot. So very, very cool. Beat After Beat loves both bands, but in the end, I'd probably go with Creed on this one because love My Own Prison, Torn, What's This Life For, One. All those songs are super cool in my humble opinion. So there you go. Right, cool. Let's keep going, keep rocking today. 3 Days Grace going out on the road. There's a bunch of tour dates. Some of them have already sold out, but yeah, they're hitting it hard starting August 29th. I know, speaking of Casey loved herself some 3 Days Grace as well. So there you go. Yeah, I remember that Beat After Beat that Creed was considered a Christian rock band. There was a bunch of bands like that came out. There was POD. There was, what was the Switchfoot, I think. Yeah, Switchfoot, POD, and then Creed, I think were all kind of considered in that, but I don't know if they were, but for some reason, maybe some journalist wrote it, and then other journalists just kind of regurgitated it. So, but I don't know. Sometimes that'll happen. I see that Michael Monroe actually ended up having surgery, so he pulled out of the Buck Cherry tour. So Nashville, those Nashville pussy guys are going out on the road with Buck Cherry. So that's a little bit of a change in venue there. Once again, the smallest possible print on these posters, which is ridiculous. Come on, guys. Come on. You can do better. Same with 3 Days Grace and Buck Cherry. Queensryche. Now, this one's a good poster because, boom, Halloween, they're doing a show. And it's with special guest Great White. So actually 2 bands without their lead singers. Of course, we lost Jack Russell of Great White. What was it? Maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago or something like that. And obviously Jeff Tate no longer in Queensryche, and so there you go. I think that's what we have solo singers like Vince, Stephen Pearcy, Vince Neil, David Lee Roth out there on the road, and then we have bands without the singers, and then we finally have bands like Extreme, which is actually good. Yeah, Striper was a cool band, but yeah, obviously definitely 80s, not so much that late 90s, early 2000s vibe there. So there you go. And then finally the Pixies out on the road. These tour dates are actually legible. What is it? San Diego starting this weekend, Berkeley, California. They're going to Montana. Very nice. Little Birmingham, Alabama. Roll Tide. I guess the college football season starts this weekend, doesn't it? Then the NFL season starts the next weekend. So very, very cool. And yeah, there you go. Just a reminder, if you dug the show today, if you're tuning in for the first time, we do this every Monday through Friday starting at 10 p.m. Wait, 10 p.m.? Woo, not even close. 6 p.m., 5 Central and 3 Pacific. And then, of course, you can always catch the show again, rewind it on Facebook or on YouTube, watch it anytime you want. And then a podcast, the video podcast, now available on Spotify. I upgraded to the video podcast yesterday. I figured, well, I might as well just upload the video podcast. And then also on your favorite Apple device as well for podcasts and stuff like that. So appreciate if you smash the like button. And from there, I think that's it. That's all I got today, man. That's all I got. It's been kind of a quiet day. Just beat after beat, and you and me, buddy boy, we're just hanging out in the middle of the internet. So it's been kind of a quiet day. I appreciate you hanging out. I hope everything goes okay with the color. Oh yeah, I've done that. Beat after beat said earlier in the show, I pulled out of my carport today and busted my driver's side mirror. I did that once with a F-150 truck I had. I backed out of the garage, yoink, took it off. And it was like, how much was it? It was probably like $500, $600 to get it fixed. It was insane. So anyways, there you go. All right. I appreciate you hanging out with me on Tuesday? It's only Tuesday, but I know a lot of people taking the week off already because we got Labor Days coming up. So end of summer, as they say. Not so much here in Arizona because we had the big haboob that made national news going through downtown Phoenix and the airport just yesterday. Yes, they call it a haboob, just a big wall of like sand coming through. It looks like it's straight out of the Mummy. It's insane in some ways. So, hey, Santiago, thanks for hanging out. I'm just jumping out of here, though. So good to see you for a brief moment.